There are two keys to being wise. There are two keys to gaining in wisdom. Proverbs tells us what they are, and they're actually pretty simple, harder to work through, but they are simple little tools that you can use. So I want to share those with you today. My name is Kristen Overman. Welcome to my home, and my passion is to help you to live abundantly in all that Christ has for you. By sharing with you truth that transforms. So we've been reading through Proverbs and doing a 31-day Proverbs challenge by reading a chapter of the book each day and just picking out one or two verses in there, using those to challenge ourselves, to pray over, and to just start the school year off with some wisdom. So we're in Proverbs 12, and Proverbs 12:15 says, "The way of the fool is right in his own eyes, but the wise man listens to counsel." So you want to know the number one thing to be wise is to be teachable, to listen to counsel, and to receive instruction. So Proverbs mentions this in chapter 1 and chapter 2, various times throughout the book. But we want to be teachable and teach our children to be teachable. Pray that they would have teachable hearts. So what does that look like? Well, I kind of broken it down into a 3-step little process. 1, we want to receive new information. We always want to be learning. 2, we want to be able to not just receive information, but also correction from the right people. So we want to be able to listen to reproof. Proverbs talks about that, which is the idea of being corrected, which isn't always fun. And then 3, we want to be challenged to change. So we don't want to just keep the information. We want to do something with it so that it changes who we are, whether that's through inspiration or conviction. So, for example, we just use this in our home of, okay, that receive information. You did this wrong, and this is the right way to do it. Receive the correction of this was what was wrong about it, and this is the right way. And then the challenge to change, let's try and practice it. So maybe let's say it again in a different way. If it was mean words or whatever it was, or do it without stomping. And so we want to be able to help our children kind of walk through that process, but not just them, us also. So for example, one of the things that we do in our home is we always have something that we're kind of working on, and we just work it till like we feel like we've kind of had some victory over it. And so Creed, one of the things that he's working on is to know when to be quiet and not to talk, because we don't want to interrupt. Like, we don't talk and interrupt when mom's on the phone or when mom's in a conversation with someone unless it's an emergency. One of the things that I'm working on that hopefully maybe some moms can relate to is not saying bad things about myself and putting myself down. And so my children and we all are holding each other accountable for that. And we walk through that little process. So that's number one. Number one to be wise is you want to be teachable, willing to receive not just information, but correction, and then act upon it. And number 2, it kind of relates to that last part, is we want to be humble. Proverbs 11:2 says, "With the humble is wisdom. An arrogant person who thinks they know it all is not wise." That's what the verse in 12:15 says. "The way of a fool seems right in his own eyes." He knows everything. He doesn't need instruction. He doesn't need other people to teach him. His way is right in his own eyes. So to be wise, we want to be humble and realize, we don't know everything. We do things wrong sometimes, and it's okay to be corrected and to have to change some of the things that we do in our lives. And so that is actually true wisdom, to be able to be corrected, to be humble enough to say, my way is not the only way. My way may not even be the right way. And so we want to grow in those things so that we can have good relationships, we can steward what God has given us, and we can live abundantly. So I hope that helps you, and may you have abundant days for His glory and your good.